Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League is one of the worst video games to release in 2024, and honestly, of all time. It was buggy and broken, the story was terrible, character designs were awful, and it overall was just a very disappointing game, especially knowing it's part of the Arkhamverse. But for Prime Day, you get free games, and one of them is Kill the Justice League, and it seems that this is just a desperate attempt to get their player numbers up. I have a few things to show off, but before I get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, join the community in my live streams, and consider supporting through Patreon or YouTube memberships. Now, I've had to talk about this game quite a bit on the channel. It truly was a massive disappointment. I still live streamed it, I played through the full base game. I wanted to give it a chance, even though it looked like it was going to be really bad and overall just really disappointing. And I can't say that I'm very surprised that it turned out to be a catastrophe. This is what happens when you spit in the faces of millions of people who love the Arkhamverse, who would have bought this because of nostalgia. And when you market it as a continuation of the Arkhamverse, people have extremely high expectations when it comes to the quality, and unfortunately, it was nowhere near the other games in the series, and it was so sad to see them just trash the legacy of these characters. Of course, the last time we're going to see Kevin Conroy as Batman, so many just heartbreaking things. But of course, with Amazon Prime Day, they give out a few games. Prime Games typically gives out 3 to 4, and this year they're saying celebrate Prime Day with extra free games. One of them is Chivalry 2, pretty well liked. Same with Tomb Raider. The Rise of Tomb Raider 20-year celebration or 20th celebration. They are giving you that. But the top one, the one that they're primarily promoting, which is a massive mistake, is Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. There's a few articles on this now, and I'll show off the X threads in a minute, but people are laughing at this. It says, though, Kill the Justice League is one of 3 extra games to be offered to Amazon Prime members at no additional cost on Tuesday, July 16th and Wednesday, July 17th for Prime Day. This, in my opinion, seems like a desperate attempt to get their player numbers up. And of course, we do not know behind the scenes how this exactly works. If companies reach out to Amazon and say, hey, listen, we are willing to have our game be, part of this list. We don't know if Amazon reaches out and says, hey, we're looking to collaborate with you. We don't know exactly how it works, but at the end of the day, this product is still getting offered to people, and ultimately, I'm sure Rocksteady viewed this as a massive win, because even though they're not directly making money from it, they're probably hoping people are going to get it for free. They're going to see a bump in player numbers, and that's going to kind of rejuvenate their hope. And then, of course, they may even buy the new characters, the DLC characters that they're adding, like Mrs. Freeze and Joker. But I don't think that this is going to be a solid strategy, because I really don't think that this is going to boost the player numbers like they're probably hoping. I mean, the player numbers so far, at least according to Steam charts, have been terrible. And while we do not know console numbers, one would assume that they're not drastically different. We're not seeing like 200 people on Steam and 500,000 people on Xbox. I mean, that's just never the case. According to SteamDB, you've got a measly 325 people playing right now, 424 in a 24-hour peak, and of course, we do know that Mrs. Freeze is going to be launching soon, so you would think that there would be more people in-game trying to, grind currency, make sure their level's up to par, but that's just not happening. There's really nothing that is bringing people into this game, and of course, if you look at the, longer chart from the start of the game, or I should say the launch of the game, to now, it's never really gone up. There was a smaller bump when the Joker came out, but that was it. It's nowhere even close to the 13,000 all-time peak, which is still such a terrible number, and I don't see a way that they could bring really any players into this title at this point. Now, of course, because they decided to do this, it's being promoted everywhere by mainstream media, by X accounts talking about it, and it is not going over well for them. People are pointing and basically laughing, saying, "This is how much Amazon hates their customers. Why does Amazon hate us so much that they chose Suicide Squad as a free game to give them?" Honestly, even though it's free, while I would claim it, I would not play it. It is not worth your time or your effort or your money in case you decide you want to play the DLC characters. Like, it is just not worth it. People are saying this is a huge L. Hold up. Oh, wait, this isn't good. Wrong game. Kind of wish they gave you an option for platform, which is completely understandable as well. There's also people saying, it's already being given away for free. This screams of desperation. They don't know how to get people into the game. And it's true. I mean, obviously, if you have a product that is amazing, you're going to instantly bring people in and you're able to draw new people in from gameplay footage being shared on social media and people talking about this title and reviewing it. But when you don't have an audience and you have pushed the customers away by saying, if you don't like it, don't play it, and they didn't, there's really nothing you can do except give something away for free to try to get them back in, because at this point they're not playing your game, meaning they didn't spend the initial $70 and they're not going to spend money on DLC characters. So clearly, desperate times call for desperate measures, and we know, at least at this point in time, that this has lost them a lot of money. Over $200 million, which is absolutely bonkers to think about, but we know that for a fact because it was said by David Zaslav in a financial report. So we know that they, had a high last year, Warner Brothers Games did, with Hogwarts Legacy. They thought Suicide Squad is going to be a similar situation, and it wasn't. And now people are laughing in their faces. And so they're trying to kind of scramble to bump these player numbers up so we can't sit here and continue to laugh at them, but it's just not turning out well. And this does definitely reek of desperation, but in my opinion, it just gives more credence to the inside information that had been given to me that Rocksteady is possibly laying off half their staff or shutting down. I did a video on it, it will be linked down below, but the whole idea of giving away the game for free could be Rocksteady's last-ditch effort to stay alive and not have Warner shut them down by trying to generate money through the live service aspects of the game, like the DLC and like the Battle Pass. So it definitely does look like a very desperate attempt, and in my opinion, I think that this is Rocksteady's last-ditch effort to stay afloat. There's people saying things like they'll soon find they literally can't give this game away. I would be really intrigued to see the download numbers, to see how many copies were actually redeemed or claimed. That would be fantastic. Now, of course, I don't think we're going to get that level of transparency because we never have before, but I would be really interested in seeing that because I don't think that a lot of people are really going to gravitate towards Suicide Squad. People are saying still don't need it, sharing images of Harley Quinn in the upcoming anime that a lot of people are excited for. I said I would play it if they paid me. This is halfway there. Also, memes and gifs of pointing and laughing, because that's all that Rocksteady really deserves at this point. When they decided they were going to work with Sweet Baby Inc. and they were not going to respect the previous, characters that were created in the world, in the Arkhamverse, and they were going to decide to take this in a new, modern direction. And then they brought in Sweet Baby Inc. to basically continue to sanitize content and tell them what, modern audiences wanted. They deserved at that point to fail. This game from the start honestly deserved to be a disaster. And I'm honestly glad to see that it is, simply because we've seen time and time and time again companies say our opinions don't matter, but I love when they're proven wrong. Our opinions do matter, and ultimately, yes, the developers and the creatives need to be passionate about their work, but they're not creating a game for themselves. They're creating a game for us, meaning they need to be making the content that we want. And whenever they don't, it's great to see people standing up against them and deciding to, speak with their wallets and ultimately not purchase things and, go to social media and laugh at them. Now, of course, I'm sure Rocksteady is going to stay pretty silent on this because Amazon's promoting it. Certain, mainstream media outlets are covering it and trying to say, hey, listen, this is amazing. It's a $70 game for free. But I highly doubt that we are going to, hear any kind of numbers from them regarding downloads. And I don't think that we are going to see major skyrockets in player numbers. So obviously, Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League has been a disaster for Rocksteady, and even giving the game away for free, I don't believe is going to save it for them. But that's all that I had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this, give it a like, and if you didn't, give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I'll talk to you all again in the next video really soon.